Today I'm going to show you how to make the best stew for a cold and rainy day. It is delicious and economical, so let's get to cooking. We're going to be making pork neck bones. Yes, pork neck bones. Each pack is about 2.5 pounds, and we're using some delicious vegetables like okra, canned diced tomatoes, also some onion and garlic, and we are using some delicious seasonings like garlic powder, onion powder, complete seasoning, black pepper, poultry, thyme leaves, paprika, and some onion soup mix. And to start off with, we're going to clean our meat. And I use vinegar and or citrus to clean my meat, but this time it's just white vinegar. I don't measure the amount of vinegar. I usually use 1/2 cup to a cup, depending upon the quantity of meat that I have in my big bowl. So you can see these are pork neck bones. The bone is pretty big and pretty obvious. Here there is a big piece of white fat that we're going to clean. We're rinsing this well to get any gritty bits off, and we're going to pull off or cut any excess fat that we see. Now this is a big, beautiful neck bone. Look at that. So it is a lot of meat compared to the bone. That's one of the things that make pork neck bones different than beef neck bones. But you're going to find, if you use my recipes for pork neck bones, I have a couple on my channel, you're going to find these pork neck bones taste very similar to beef in texture and flavor. So now that I washed my neck bones, I drained them in a colander and I cut off the pieces of fat, and I'm just giving it an extra rinse as I inspect each piece of meat. Any piece of fat or grit or gristle, I wash off. Now I'm putting my meat into a big pot and I'm adding my dry seasonings. We're going to stew this down, so it's going to cook for a while, and we want to infuse all of our good dry seasonings in it. I'm not measuring my dry seasonings. I am covering the meat with the seasonings that don't contain sodium. If the seasoning contains sodium, then I just add a little bit. So I like to go extra with garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, and poultry seasoning because they are sodium free. Complete seasoning contains some sodium, and then of course, if you decide to add any salt to this, you would want to be conscious of the amount of salt you add. Start off with a little bit, and then you can add more later. I am adding my cut onions and garlic, and now I'm adding liquid. This is a 4-cup measuring cup, so I'm going to add about 8 to 12 cups of water. It really depends on the size of your pan. I'm adding so much liquid because I really like the broth, the brothiness, soupy part of this. If your main focus is the meat and you just want a little bit of soup, then you could probably be safe with just adding 6 to 8 cups of liquid. It really depends on you and how much meat you have. I'm adding this onion soup mix, which does have sodium in it. There are 2 packs in here, and each pack has 4 servings. But of course, I'm using 1 pack, and this big bowl of soup is going to serve more than 4 servings. So the sodium level isn't that bad because of the quantity of water that I'm using. So with all my seasonings added in, I'm just adding my lid back onto my Dutch oven, and then I check it after a couple of hours, and you'll notice that the liquid cooked down a lot and the meat is starting to pull away from the bone. Look at the size of that pot. Look at how much that water has reduced. And as it has reduced, the flavor has intensified, and that's exactly what we want. So after about 2 hours, I'm going to drain my can of diced tomatoes and just add the tomatoes. I don't want too much of that liquid to dilute the delicious richness of the broth we've already made. Look at that. That bone just fell off. So I decided to pull out some tomato paste that I had in a freezer bag in my freezer. You buy those little mini cans, and I never use it all, so I just put the extra in a freezer bag and freeze it until a time like this. So this is about half a small can, so maybe 2, 3, 4 tablespoons. And I'm just adding that in to add some thickness and richness to our broth. I let the tomatoes cook down probably for another 30 minutes, and then I added my bag of frozen okra. This is a 1-pound bag. Okra is a very healthy recipe, a very healthy vegetable. It helps lower cholesterol. I add some salt for flavor and some complete seasoning at this point because my meat is cooked, so I was able to taste the broth and see that it could benefit from some extra seasoning and salt. So far, this has been cooking for over 2.5 to 3 hours. So we just want to stew it down some more so that our okra can cook completely. And then we'll be ready to eat, y'all. This smells so good, and it is so economical because each pack of meat only cost me about $5.50. So this amount of meat that we cook is about $11, and you could feed multiple people. Adding the canned tomato and the frozen okra is a great way to stretch this meal. So this really is a one-pot meal because we have our meat and our veggies. And look at how delicious this is looking. Y'all, I plated this up in a bowl after about 3.5 hours, and look at how tender that meat is. And to get the perfect bite, I have some meat, some okra, some tomatoes. I absolutely love this. If you like oxtails, you will definitely like this recipe, that is, if you choose to eat pork. And if you don't, that's fine. I have a whole playlist on my channel with just beef recipes, and I have veggie recipes as well. So on my channel, you can find recipes to suit any dietary preference you have. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel.